Hey, so for this second video of Pride Month, I am going to talk about how I came to realize that I'm gender fluid. Now, I grew up in the 1980s, and it was a bit of a more barbaric time in this world. I mean, one of my favorite sitcoms from the 80s made some pretty mean-spirited jokes at a former Olympian turned mega cult trans woman. But I digress. So it was a more, I guess you would call it, barbaric time. Sorry. But I grew up in a Christian household, and it was like, I know some of you are going, oh no, what's this? But the Christianity that I learned was based on the concept of actually what Jesus said to his disciples, as I have loved you, so you are to love one another. Sorry, I just touched up my nails. And I also grew up on Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers, which are also shows that were about getting along with other people. So I grew up on these things. And while I have had some missteps with my religious beliefs, I still hold true to that verse from Jesus about the whole, as I have loved you, so you too are to love one another. Anyway, the first sign that I was gender fluid actually dates back to when I was really young and visits to my grandparents. Now, the first kids in my family to come from my aunts and uncles were girls. And shit. Sorry. Sorry, I just did touch-ups on my nails and I spilled something on me. I digress. So the older members of the older kids at the time of my family were girls, and while my grandparents did have erector sets and Tinker toys and whatnot, they also had Barbie dolls, and I never had a problem playing with the Barbie dolls. I always liked dressing them up in their clothes, and most of the clothes were stuff that my grandmother made for them. So, that was a thing. And the only embarrassment that I had over that was voicing the female dolls, which I would do in my own toys with the Ninja Turtles and my G.I. Joes and Transformers and whatnot. So that wasn't an unusual thing for a little boy to do. Well, between when that and when they got rid of those toys, or no, when my grandmother moved out of that house, when it became too much for her, that's when those toys got rid of. I digress. I went years without kind of acknowledging the feminine aspect of myself. In fact, it was when I got to my second duty station at about 21. So going from like 9 or 10 to 21, there was a long time. It was like I had unrestricted internet access. And because I had unrestricted internet access, I'm just like, holy crap, adult material. And through that, I found Newgrounds. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Newgrounds, unfamiliar with what they're all about and whatnot, they're a place where people can post cartoons, games, music, drawings, whatever, and is only judged based on the quality of your stuff, not the content. Which, even today is still a thing to do. And the only money that is being made from Newgrounds, and always has just been provided with servers and just the means to keep the site running. Because Newgrounds has been around since 1995, so a long time. Anyway, when I was looking at adult material, I found dress-up games. And, of course, I gravitated to the adult ones. But I actually found a few from one specific artist where she's like, yeah, it's like I'll play the game and show nudity, but it's like, look at all these pretty clothes and outfits you can make for her. And I was just getting mesmerized by this. Mesmerized by that and the options for hairstyles and whatnot. And that's another indicator that I wasn't wasn't actually cisgender. So I, having unrestricted internet access for the majority of my adult life, I continued on and just accepted as like, hey, I like these dress-up games. It's like, even if they're not adult, which I moved on to. It's like, I'll readily admit that. And just as time went on, it was just how I satisfied that aspect of myself. But as I got older, I realized that I still had felt a sense of wrongness on days. But I kind of just brushed it under the rug, try as hard as I could to clamp down on those feelings, and just move through the day. And then Shelby came into my life. And Shelby is what I would best describe her as joyfully LGBTQ. She is out. She does not care what anyone else thinks. She does not care how upset other people would be with that. And she doesn't hide it. Well, she doesn't hide it from anyone but her parents. But that's a thing in and of itself. Anyway. But she introduced me to, TikTok, which I don't frequent anymore for moral reasons, because I refuse to put myself on a platform that bowed to a guy that wants us all dead. But I digress. She showed me TikTok, and suddenly the algorithm was tailoring itself to me, tailoring itself to ADHD, tailoring itself to autism. And I kept getting LGBTQ content, usually from content creators, usually trans ones. And make no mistake, I'm not trans. I'm happy to present as male. And I'm happy in my own skin most of the time. So I know I'm not trans. That was like one of the first things I was looking up when I started getting this content, and then, um, but I kept getting stuff that is like directed towards either women or trans women, and I'm just like, I really connect with this stuff. So I eventually get off of YouTube, off of TikTok, and I'm just still feeling that feeling of wrongness. So I looked up the definition of non-binary, and non-binary, based on the definition I read, is it's like you're not either one. But I'm just like, that doesn't feel right. Then I looked up gender fluid, and it's just like you're one or the other, or both or neither. It can fluctuate. Your gender identity can fluctuate based on how you're feeling, and just like, you know what, that fits. So I tell Shelby, and then I tell another another one of our co-workers who's also LGBTQ, and I tell one of the first co-workers that advocated for me. Now, she is cis het, but like because of the relationship I had built with her, the friendship that I built with her, it's like I know that she'd be accepting. And I told Shelby and the other LGBTQ, no, I'll just flat out say, is like the other bi coworker I have, like, yeah, you can tell your boyfriends about this, but I didn't tell our cis het one that she could tell her husband because like I don't know her husband well enough. But I digress. Yeah, that's how I came to where I'm at now. I'm learning that I'm gender fluid, accepting it, and now I'm out to the internet, although not locally, because, Magalandia, USA, but seriously, fuck that. But, yeah, okay, this has been just kind of a rambling, kind of like, hey, this is my story kind of thing. Till next time, take care, peace.